Hi, and welcome to the College of Design, Construction, and Planning. My name is Rachel Dean, and I'm one of the academic advisors within the college. Today we're going to be talking about our four majors: architecture, interior design, landscape architecture, and sustainability in the built environment, as well as three of our minors, which are each just 5 classes and complement our majors quite nicely. So we offer landscape architecture, urban and regional planning, and sustainability in the built environment as minors as well. So starting off, we'll focus on architecture. So this is a very creative major, very collaborative major, definitely a very strong design focus. Every single semester, students have a design studio where they're in the studio building projects, drawing, doing a lot of really cool creative things. In addition to their studio every semester, they'll also be taking courses related to computer lab classes where they learn some of the digital programs that architects use in the field, as well as history, theory, structures, building technology, and construction material classes. This prepares students to go on to a 2-year Master of Architecture degree where they can become licensed and or work directly in the field. Our next major is interior design, and interior designers have total control over the entire interior space. They work with their clients to make sure spaces are functional and also aesthetically pleasing. This major does require students to do an internship as it is fully accredited, so students or graduates of the program can apply for licensure and become licensed interior designers after graduation. So I do want to mention that interior designers don't just design residential spaces. They design all different types of spaces. So hospitality, restaurants, educational facilities, healthcare facilities, all different types of spaces for all different types of clients. And then we have landscape architecture. So this is also, just like interior design and architecture, a design-focused degree, and there's a strong emphasis on designing green spaces. This is a 5-year professional degree. So when students graduate from this major, they can become licensed landscape architects. This does require an 8-month internship, and students design green spaces. So if you have an interest in the environment, or maybe you're passionate about ecological type restoration projects, this would be a perfect major for you. We see graduates go on to do public agency work, working in parks and trails, designing green spaces related to urban design or city planning, or even working for residential and commercial projects for private design and planning firms. And then we have sustainability in the built environment. So this major will focus on why and how we should be sustainable and how sustainability works within our college. So how can our construction be sustainable? How can architecture, interior design, landscape architecture, how can we bring sustainability to these practices? So we might be sustainable for a number of reasons: to protect our natural and our cultural resources, maybe to safeguard human health, reduce our energy, conserve our water, manage waste more efficiently, use our land efficiently, just ultimately promote sustainable practices. So this is what this major will focus on, and we do see a lot of students go into transportation or city, urban regional planning. A lot of our students are really interested in LEED review, and LEED, L-E-E-D, is a measurement of how sustainable buildings can be. So we have a lot of students who are really interested in that, as well as energy analysis, or maybe even going into sustainability project management. Additionally, we have a geodesign specialization that a lot of our sustainability students are really interested in. This specialization allows students to learn a program called ArcGIS, which is a 2D, 3D digital mapping technology where they can actually overlay data onto maps to learn how to discover problems that might occur within the land or within cities, and then how to best mitigate those problems and really just make smarter decisions about land development. So now let's check out some student work. So starting in the Design 1 studio, this is actually the studio that architecture students, interior design students, and landscape architecture students will take. So these are a couple of examples of some models that our students work on. Studios are pretty small, about 15 students per studio. And as you can tell from these models up here, it's pretty abstract, pretty conceptual. You're really learning about space at this point and kind of trying to retrain your mind to think like a designer. And then you'll look at some second year work here. So this is a Design 3 studio. As you could tell with the first slide, it was very abstract, very conceptual. As you go into Design 3, which architecture students and interior design students will be in Design 3 together. At this point, landscape architecture is doing their own specific studio, which we'll cover in a minute. But as you can tell, it's becoming a lot more realistic at this point. This is a project called Door, Window, Stair. So as you can see, it is definitely much more realistic at this point. You have various entry points throughout the model, stairwells. So just an example of some second year work for architecture and interior design students. And then the final couple of years for architecture, pretty heavy on the digital. So students learn programs that architects use in the field, like AutoCAD, Revit, BIM, Rhino, 3ds Max. These two images are actually from their New York City and Charleston, South Carolina field trips that they take. So at this point, you're really bringing your designs to life, and it's much more realistic. For interior design, they also learn some of these digital programs as well. So here on the left is a restaurant design that one of our students did, and then on the right is a healthcare facility. So as I mentioned earlier, interior designers design spaces for all different market sectors and all different types of clients. So just a couple of examples of something our students have done. And then for landscape architecture, here on the right part of the slide is something you might traditionally think of a landscape architect as doing. So this was an empty plot of land off of UF's campus, and students came up with this park idea, has various trails and transportation towards the top. This pavilion area is a food truck rally point for people to come to, and just something that, like I said, a landscape architect might do with designing green spaces like parks, golf courses, maybe even theme parks, things of that nature. And then here on the right is more of an environmental restoration project. So there was some runoff from the St. Lucie River. So the students came up with the idea to place oyster cages in various points to kind of naturally filter the water and prevent some of that runoff. So just a couple of examples of something that a landscape architect might work on. For sustainability, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of our students are really interested in green design, green buildings. So just just an example of something that our sustainability students are interested in. They actually take various field trips throughout campus. So if you think about the Rights Student Union, it has some various sustainable features. So the first would be waste reduction. So as you walk throughout the student union, you'll see some recycling bins, reusable to-go food containers, even things like green cleaning chemicals, energy conservation features, so high efficiency lighting with motion detectors, as well as improved air qualities for people who are within the space, as well as water conservation, so flow restricted faucets, and even reusable water bottles. And finally, your academic experience goes just beyond what you do in the classroom. So we want our students to be leaders here at UF and leaders within our college. So we do have a DCP ambassadors program, which is essentially leaders throughout the college that are involved in various events, maybe give tours to prospective students. So great program for students who are coming to UF to consider, as well as we have various student organizations that you can get involved with both within your major and even outside of your major. And then we have a lot of really cool study abroad opportunities that you should definitely check out. So again, my name is Rachel Dean, Academic Advisor in the College of Design Construction Planning. Certainly feel free to email me at advising@dcp.ufl.edu and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you.